Hello, hello, and good morning, everybody. I hope everyone is doing well. I just got back from Vegas. I had a great trip, and I felt bad being away from the community for a while. So just wanted to record you guys, something of value, because I am going away again, to Indianapolis. So if anyone's in Indiana, uh, feel free to drop a comment, say what's up. Um, but headed to the Indy 500, so wanted to at least give a little bit of value here in the community and just kind of help out with one of the problems that I've been seeing a lot of people mention. And that problem has been really there's two major problems that I see that people are facing when it comes to event venues. On one hand, it is finding a venue and getting started. On the second hand, it is marketing and getting people to your place. And since sales is the lifeline of any business, I figured this is the most pressing problem to solve for people. Because without sales, you know, business just doesn't work. So that said, I wanted to quickly record something for you guys and kind of help you synthesize leads and marketing. And I'm going to keep this a little bit higher level. But if you guys appreciate this, if you find value out of this, please drop a comment, let me know, and I can dive deeper into any bit of this that you think you guys would like more explanation around, or just any more detail. And if it's not helpful, drop a comment and let me know that too. So that said, cool. Let's talk about the core four. So when you guys think about marketing, there's only four ways to tell people about your stuff. And that's it. There's only four, right? There's warm outreach, cold outreach, content, and paid ads. There's no other way that you can get in front of people and tell them about the product or service that you sell. Um, and so I like thinking this way because it makes it simple, right? Um, and there's really two groups of people that you're appealing to here. There's either people you know or there's people you don't know. And then there's two types of ways that you're kind of talking to them, right? It's either one-on-one, which is a private conversation, or it's one to unlimited, which is like a public conversation. And so let's break these down. And I'm going to break this down in both event venue talks and as well as like in the school community. So you guys can kind of think through and understand how it is that you guys came into the community and understand these different four marketing strategies in real time with real world examples. So talking about the school community itself, you guys had joined the community for one of four reasons. Either one, you were part of my friends and family, which was the warm outreach. Two, you were cold outreach, which I either like Instagram DM'd you, I Twitter DM'd you, I emailed you, like out of a cold email blast. I Facebook Messengered you, right? That's cold outreach. Um, Now, a lot of you also have came from paid ads. So you probably saw an ad on Facebook or Instagram, or maybe you saw something on Google, and that's how you guys came into the community, right? Now, the last thing that you guys may have saw is some content. So you might have seen anything that I posted on my TikTok or my Instagram, and you may have been like, hey, this is interesting, right? And you clicked into my bio and joined the community from there. So those are the four ways that you guys probably had heard about me or came in contact with me and ultimately joined the community. So when you join the community, that's when we started a warm outreach sequence, right? So when you join the community, one of the first things that happened is I sent you a message off school, right? Or I texted you. And that would be where the warm outreach starts, right? Because now you're familiar with who I am, or if you're not familiar with me, you're familiar with OMG Rentals, right? And so from there, we've started a conversation, and that's where the warm outreach and the follow-ups really matter. And yeah, so, very, very simple. So now let's break it down in terms of event venues. So I just wanted to give the school community example because I think it's something that everyone here, whether you're doing equipment rentals, whether you have an event venue and you're renting it out, whatever you're doing, if you join that community, you came in through one of these four ways, and I think it's just the most approachable and understandable kind of way I could break this down. But now let's talk about event venues specifically, because that is that's the target market I can help the most. I have the most experience with. If you do equipment rentals, I'm sorry, but you can, just adjust this as you see fit. Um, and, maybe I can talk to a couple of you guys in equipment rentals and spin something up similar if you guys find value out of this. But go into event rent or venues. Uh, when you talk about the core four, you can think about it this way. So posting free content, right? And posting free content, you can post like client wins and success stories, testimonials. So people being like, I had the greatest time at Eric's space, XYZ, right? You can post people having their birthday parties, their quinceañeras, their bridal showers, rehearsals, whatever. You can have some of the content posted from that. And that would be your free content where people will get familiar with your brand, and it just has a much broader reach. And when you think about content, the two most important things that are going to help you spread content to get visibility with a lot broader people is that it's called the two-step approach. So in those first 10 minutes of posting, you really, really want people to comment and share your post, right? What's going to happen there is the algorithms from all social media platforms are going to be like, hey, people are interested in this. So a good strategy to do this would be offering something in exchange for a comment. So if you want to offer a free guide to wedding planning, if you want to offer a free XYZ for, whatever it is, think of a freebie and have a call to action in your content being like, if you comment the word checklist below, I will send you my Peerspace Power Up checklist, right? That's one of the things that I do. That if you've watched one of the first videos in the classroom, you'll notice it, right? And so if you comment on that Instagram post, I will send you that checklist. And that helps me grow and scale that content to get in front of more people. And this is a strategy you guys should definitely be using. Now, paid ads. So running paid ads, there's two ways you can do it. There's really a couple, but the two biggest ad platforms that I use are going to be Google Ads and Meta Ads. Meta is Facebook, Instagram, right? And Google is YouTube, Google, and all of other Google products. Now, I think for event venues, Google Ads is actually a better way to go about it because Meta Ads is better for video and photos and things of that nature, right? So if you want to spin up some ad creatives off Canva, I definitely suggest using kind of the Meta Ads. But for Google Ads, that's where people in your area are going to be searching like, hey, I have a wedding coming up and I need to find a event venue that can host my wedding, right? And that's going to be very like locally driven. And so I do believe Google Ads works a little bit better for event venues specifically. Um, but those are kind of like your two options for getting your most visibility um, with paid ads. Um, and again, if any of this is helpful, let me know and we can do a deeper dive. But I'm going to keep it a little bit high level just for the sake of breadth here and to see what you guys find value out of. And if you don't find value, also let me know because then I won't post anything like this. So, uh, cool. So moving on to cold outreach, right? This is people you don't know, but it's one-to-one outreach. So a couple of ways you can do outreach, the couple of ways that I do outreach, for example, is and some of you may have joined the community from this. I know Gail Gardner, shout out. I know you joined from Twitter DMs, but I will do Twitter DMs, I do Instagram DMs, I do Facebook Messenger, and I do cold emails. So this is where, I don't have any relation to these people at all, but I'm telling people about my stuff, right? This is one of those things where you're not going to expect a lot of responses, right? My response rate is probably around 4%, which is actually pretty high for cold outreach. But it's very, very common to get 0.5% response rate and below. But with cold outreach, that's where you're just going to reach out to people that you know have similar interests. So for Facebook, for example, you'll go into Facebook groups and you'll see people who are like in the planning industry, right? And you can directly reach out to these people because you see that they're a part of these groups. And then you can ask them questions and you can start conversations that way. Um, a tidbit here is the best way to kind of start your outreach is try to draw their curiosity, right? Ask them a question. People love talking about themselves. Ask them about themselves, right? Don't be like, hey, I have an event venue and I want you to rent it out. You're not going to get responses, guys. So ask them about them, right? And then also like you're kind of networking. You're wanting to have these conversations to grow relationships because that's kind of the name of the game is that's what we're doing here is you're wanting to grow relationships with clients so that you can, you know, make more sales and actually get referrals and stuff down the line. Now, warm outreach. If this is specific to people who are just starting their venues, and it's also specific to people who have had their venues and have had clients, right? So we'll break that down in two ways. So if you're just starting your venue, guys, you got to ask your friends and family. No, everyone starts out from the bottom. That's just how it goes, right? This is business. There is no shame. Your friends and family are your backbone. So I totally, totally recommend asking for help. It's okay. That's what we all have to do, right? If you guys go back into the member list, you'll see the first 30 people who joined the community were my friends and my family. There's no shame in it, right? Like these are the people that they're supposed to have your back. So go and ask a friend, ask for help, be like, hey, I'm doing this thing. I would love if you come check out my venue and just gave me a Google review, right? Warm outreach right there, friends and family. Now, secondly, if you've had a venue, say you've ran it for 5 years, you've had a bunch of people come and rent your space. Say they rented it out for a birthday. Next year, those people are going to have a birthday. That's how those things work. So that's warm outreach, right? You can reactivate your customer database. So if they've had a birthday and right, you can go back and be like, hey, John, I know your birthday's coming up in 2 months. I would love to host you and yours again. We had such a great time last time. I'll even offer a discount of XYZ, right? So that's kind of just what I want you guys to think about. Uh, these are the four ways to tell people about your stuff. And, I think a lot of people make it more complicated than it is. And so the reason I wanted to kind of get into this is just it doesn't have to be complicated, right? Break them down into these four quadrants and list out the stuff that you're comfortable with. So if you've never touched Twitter, don't do Twitter, right? Like start with Facebook Messenger and Instagram. Do the stuff that you're comfortable with and that you use because that's the things that you'll be most successful with because that like you'll have an understanding of how those platforms work and you'll have an understanding of what's worked with you in the past, what you responded to, right? Even think about how you joined the community. How did you join my community? Was it paid ads? Was it cold outreach? Was it content? Think about that stuff and think about what worked with you and then recreate it for your own venues or for your equipment rentals or whatever it is. And then, you know, spin it up that way. But don't overcomplicate marketing because it is, try to keep it as simple as you can. It's called KISS. Keep it simple, stupid, right? Like don't create these massive workflows that just end up overcomplicating processes and don't work. Try to keep it simple. Make sure you're just doing the steps. And yeah, if this was helpful, let me know in the comments. I really hope it is. And if it wasn't helpful, also let me know in the comments. uh, and if you guys would like to hop on a call with me and my team, there is a book a call link at the top right of the community. Um, my team would love to help you guys get set up with your event venues and help you scale past 10,000 a month. And if that's not at the point, still feel free to book a call and I will be glad to point you in the direction where I think you guys can get the most value. So thanks so much for being a part of OMG Rentals. And yeah, I hope this helps, guys.